What?
That's awesome, and you remember this word, dhanyavad?
I do indeed. Bahutacha.
Bahut
The
acha.
one I can remember, or the three words.
Okay, so Mike, I think the world is struggling because of the pandemic. Everyone is in the same boat, whether you are a large organization or you are a SME or you are a solopreneur or anybody, you are in the same boat. We are all in the same boat.
We
And
are
now
indeed.
with vaccination drive is kicking in, at least in a few countries to start with now, and soon it will become a global phenomena. So that means at least few variants of COVID will not trouble us, but I think there will be more to worry about. But I think we will protect at least 50% of the world. So now we need to discuss about how do we bring our economy back? How do we create our business from the scratch? What we should do? Would you like to throw some light on this subject?
I've got opinions. Hopefully, it will be seen as light. Obviously, economies are all connected. There is a sense in which all businesses all over the world are living entities, and we interact with each other, much like the natural world. We're all part of a global economic ecosystem. And within that environment, each entity is a key worker, because we all have to do our best, generate energy, generate sustenance for the economies that we all work within, and whether that be geographic based, whether that be sector based, whether it be size based, we are all actually key workers in pulling back these economies from the brink of, let's face it, pretty much disaster. Our own Chancellor in the UK did his budget speech yesterday, and I think, it was one of the toughest budgets apparently that we've had for 50 years, they were saying, because COVID has, taken every economy by the throat and giving it a good shake. So we definitely have to all work together, in my view, to support our economic ecosystems, whatever they are. We're probably members of lots of different ones at the same time.
So I think the reason for Scale Up Arena becoming very popular globally, if it is Africa, India, China, I think your platform is bringing a lot of businesses together. And I think it is one of these ethos of working together that you are trying to bring. Would you like to give our viewers a little bit a flavor of how we can work together?
I think the important thing is with the whole global economic ecosystem, and within that our own sectors and sizes of operation, is that we all have to, a bit like the Three Musketeers. I don't know if you know that in India, the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all. We all actually have to succeed, but in order to succeed, we all need each other. And the whole ethos of the ecosystems, the online digital presence that we have, is that we help each other to succeed through the abilities to connect, collaborate, communicate, and also to close businesses together, to close business, because ultimately that's what we're all going to have to do to recover from this COVID economic vacuum that we find ourselves in. Vacuum being a gentle word for something that we're all in, economic chaos. But I think in order to do that there are certain areas that we have to focus on, because the post-pandemic world cannot return to what it was pre-pandemic for all sorts of reasons. So there are a number of things that I think are important that we change. One of them is we have to, and I like alliteration, so apologies for this. I smash the silos. You know, in the public sector, we have this idea that we do this. In the quangos, we think we do that. In the telecoms, we think we do this. But actually, what we all need to do is work together and break down those barriers that say, oh, well, we can't do this because you're not the same as us. So in order to optimize the opportunities across all organizations and structures, we must get rid of this mentality of blinkered mentality, because we're missing opportunities, whether it be, oh, well, we can't see outside our state, we can't see outside our country, we can't see outside our sector, because actually we're all interrelated. So I think the first thing we have to do is get rid of that silo mentality and think, actually, we've all got to pull together here. The next one, the first couple are a bit negative. The next one is banish the bureaucracy. Get rid of the red tape, because actually we're in a fast-moving, competitive, dynamic world. And if we impose red tape on enterprise in that environment, we're actually not going to make it thrive, not going to make it profitable and generate taxes. What we're going to do is in effect, governments are cutting off the arm that feeds them. We need to simplify bureaucracy, make it as online as possible, as simple as possible. A lot of tax collection can be done electronically. The amount of paper filling we need to do can be reduced vastly, and it's far more effective that our businesses spend 80% of their time selling and optimizing their potential, rather than 80% of their time filling out a tax return or ensuring that, oh, this bit of money stays in the country, because actually what we need is to generate funds in all directions and not have these bureaucratic situations. And another one I think is really important, and a post-pandemic particularly has changed this culture, is we need to cease city centre-centric commuting, because commuting takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of resource, it means that we spend a lot of money on infrastructure. And what we've all learned, I think, in this pandemic is that actually we don't need to spend 2 to 4 hours a day traveling to an office. We can actually work just as efficiently when we're working locally, maybe in a local working hub, maybe working from home, whichever your preference is. It's not saying you don't meet together, but it's saying that when you do meet together, let's do that more efficiently and effectively, rather than sitting in an office with a lukewarm, rather distasteful cup of coffee. Maybe it's the opportunity to go to a hotel, to go to a nice facility, spend quality time together with the team or with your clients, rather than insisting they come into a rather bland, expensive situation with a lot of travel time and cost. There's a few of the negatives that we need to change. I don't know what you think about those.
Well, I think I fully agree with you, Mike, for making these very important points. I have one very peculiar question. I think all the governments are now trying very, very hard to bring their economy back. Even the developed countries are having, like, for example, in your budget also, you might have seen, and you already mentioned that it is one of the most difficult budget that you have seen in the past. And most of the governments are now going towards protectionism or localization. Although we are more global than ever, and it was a wretched virus which came and taught us all. So I think we are at a place where we just need to get a little nudge so that people start really becoming global. I mean, we have been saying global for last, I've been hearing this word global for last, 30 years. But, I think for the first time, we are truly global, even though the governments are moving towards localization. How do you
Yes.
see Scale Up Arena filling these spaces in such a situation?
Well, I think one of the positive points is I think we've realized that we can go for global growth without having, again, to travel. Just like commuting, we don't have to go for a week to this particular place and spend thousands of dollars or pounds or rupees or dirhams in a hotel to do business and have a couple of meetings whilst we're there. What we can actually do is spend a lot of our time working virtually, presenting, having people from all over the world on calls, on webinars, on briefings about new technologies, about opportunities, about trading, about joint ventures and partners. We can do all of this stuff remotely. It doesn't mean we don't want to meet. Of course we want to meet. I'm looking forward to that curry we're going to enjoy in Delhi one day, Chandra, but we can do that on a less frequent basis. It doesn't have to be the thing that starts our opportunity to work together. It's the thing that complements our working together. So we can do the remote working, we can deploy and deliver digitally, we can go global working with local people in country. And if by having less red tape, having less protectionism, it means that companies are more likely to say, actually, I'm going to open a subsidiary in India because I don't have to worry about losing my cash on withholding taxes. What we should be doing is actually saying, how can we ensure that foreign companies want to come and invest here, work here, employ here, without being penalized by greedy, dare I say it, by greedy approaches to withdrawing their own cash back out of the company. I think that's a really very negative approach that is taken, which doesn't help. The Scale Up Arena helps in the fact that we have a global platform with the ability for people to showcase, to train, to educate in their new innovations, in their products, in their services, in their capabilities. Also for potential investors, potential growing businesses to find each other, interact with each other, and then trade and do business together. So, that's the whole ethos of Scale Up Arena, is it brings people together to generate energy, to generate sustainable deals together. So I think the whole ethos of Scale Up Arena and the other ecosystems for different sectors is all about making those interactions work, making it work on a global and digital basis, even if it is building roads out of plastic in Delhi, or it's reducing pollution by using rubbish and turning that into electricity. The technology can be deployed locally. And the great news for that is it can generate revenue and business for the economy and for enterprises locally, and it generates employment, and it raises everybody's quality of living.
Yes, Mike. And one particular question which is running in my mind with respect to the Indian businesses here. Let's say if there are tech companies here in India looking for tech partners in other countries, how Scale Up Arena, I mean, you can go step by step, what is the first step, so that, our viewers knows exactly how Scale Up Arena is different from other forums that they have to go through. And one thing I understand is that if I join Scale Up Arena, you can actually reach a lot of people in one shot. I mean, one thing is very clear: you can reach people in UK, Africa, Japan, China, everywhere. So I think, but I would like to hear from you step by step. what happens so that people
Okay.
can.
Yeah. So if you're an Indian company wanting to reach the global markets, the first thing you could do is come along to a session that we run once a week called a Why Join, and we take people through what's it all about, how can you optimize it, why is it there, what's the philosophy behind it, and then we encourage people to come on board to sign up, and we've got a special offer for people who are coming through Akulmach. If they want to, if there are SMEs that want to join or interested in joining Scale Up Arena, we run a Why Join Scale Up Arena session. And then if they sign up, we will give them a 20% discount on the usual engagement fee if they mention Akulmach and they come via the Akulmach route. So that is a great opportunity for them to then get part of the ecosystem, become part of the online meetings, the online mechanisms for sharing blogs, creating courses, creating product service entries, sharing those out through the social media channels. Who knows, even maybe coming back onto Akulmach and saying, find our entry on Scale Up Arena, which is the great opportunity, of course, to broadcast that not just into India, but into Africa, America, all the different places, the Middle East, Australia, UK, and Europe as well. So it's a great opportunity for SMEs to do that. The other area that we can really help organizations is for the multinationals, the larger organizations who are looking for ways to differentiate moving forward in the future. We're on the homepage of scaleuparena.com. There is find a solution for your multinational. So if you are there and you're thinking, we need to improve the way we service our customers, the way we do our manufacturing, the way we do our artificial intelligence or our client loyalty programs or our cybersecurity or our payment management, go in there and free of charge, you can click, enter a little summary as to what you're looking for. And we will then matchmake that with the innovators and the advisors and the experts that we have at the back and try and bring together a solution. Costs nothing. We've got a network of people with, let's say, 10,000 years worth of expertise and experience in business. That's a lot of hours. So we've got that resource free of charge to help the SMEs and the multinationals, the large organizations, to optimize the future, the post-COVID world.
Absolutely. This is so interesting because as we move towards the gig economy, even the big brains behind the data and machine learning will be available through Scale Up Arena to large organizations. So
yeah. And I think with the gig economy as well, what we're looking at is we're looking at the ability to optimize the expertise of people on a more affordable and realizable basis, geared to results, because you don't need somebody full-time. You could take somebody on a project basis or a time size basis to utilize their expertise in that particular challenge. And then you can have somebody else to help you with the next one, be it strategy, be it marketing, be it finance, be it funds. So you can bring that blend together, a bit like an a la carte menu of services, depending on what you actually need for your business at that time. The other area I think is really important that we haven't talked about in this post-COVID situation is we need to recognize the potential of the emerge up companies, not the startups who, we all know what a startup is. They've got a very, they go to the bank, they have a long conversation. I'm planning to do this business. And the bank manager gets you to sign a piece of paper and then says, I'll send you a debit card and you can start your business with us. Then there's the scale ups, which have 3 years of 20% year-on-year growth and 10 employees at the start of the process. So they're a well-defined group. But in the gap, mind the gap, as they used to say on the London Tube, okay, underground, mind the gap, because the gap is where the energy is. The scale-ups make up 60, 70% of all the revenue from SMEs, okay, so they're important. But the ones that are going to be the next scale-ups, generate the most jobs, generate the most revenue, profit, tax returns, are going to be the emerge-ups. And they are typically characterized by a shortage. They're short of the working capital they need. They're short of the time to deploy as many clients as they could. They're short of resource to go into international markets. They're short maybe of expertise in a particular field because they can't afford to take someone full time. That is the market which we have to support. So we've got to energize those emerge ups. And I think in this post-COVID bounce back better environment, we have to recognize that they previously have been largely unsupported. And we need to support those emerge ups as we move forwards, because in 3 years' time, there'll be the scale ups.
So I think this is an amazing story. The Scale Up Arena provides a lot of synergy for SMEs as well as enterprises world over to come together and work together across the level. I think it's an amazing story, and it's an amazing platform. So the good news for Akulmach viewers is that if you use Akulmach as a promo code, you will get 20% discount. So I urge you to explore scaleup.com and leverage their presence, global presence, find clients, find merger opportunities, merge up basically with other SMEs, and also funding probably. So I think the possibilities are immense. So with this,
they are indeed.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. I think I'm quite excited, and viewers of this program must leverage this excellent offer. And I think this is one of the very good method of bouncing back with economy.
Fantastic, absolutely. I mean, to reach out to us with that code, all you need to do is go to contact us on the homepage of scaleuparena.com, or you could just send an email to info@scaleuparena.com. And if I get flooded out with requests from India and Asia Pacific, fantastic. And we'll look forward to hearing from them.
Absolutely, Mike. And once again, wish you many happy returns. And it was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You found time to talk to us today with this very important subject, even though it's supposed to be your off day. So thank you so much. And we will catch up in the next edition with you next week.
Look forward to it, Chandra. Have a great day and a pleasure to talk to you as always.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Hello friends, I am Kanchan from Akulmach Technologies and welcome to our show. Today we are discussing about very important aspect of our mankind, that is social media and its effect. To discuss on this topic, we have Sitesh Srivastav, who has a deep interest in corporate training. He is closely associated with radio broadcasting. So welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Kanchan. And thanks, and I'm talking to you after a long time. And how have you been?
Yeah, I'm fine, enjoying the northern winters.
Yes, and I can really understand that. And I miss winters. They have a special charm. And regarding the topic that we have chosen today, it is actually a great irony that we are doing this interview on a social media platform.
Very true. Very true. But actually, I had no other options because, we are living in COVID era. And of course, in India, we are expecting a lockdown very soon, I guess, if we really trust on the news which are coming up.
Yeah. We have to be alert. But it's very important that we brought up this subject, Kanchan. Social media. I mean, that's something that which was started few years back, or 6 to 7 years back, just to share things between friends and be on a real time sharing. Now, sharing has become something that has become a nuisance and a noise for many of us. It is now keeping our brains active throughout the waking time and even sometimes in the non-waking times. And the amount of messages, information, planned messages, unplanned messages, good morning, good night messages, motivations, inspirations, suddenly the mind is never free. And a mind that is never free can it never think about something unique, something creative. And just to tell you, sometimes when I hear the interviews of our, some Bollywood actors, and they say, I have not watched this super successful film, and I keep thinking, this movie made 300-400 crore rupees, and in that industry, and suddenly the another peer star has not watched it. And that's something. Now I realize that we get affected, we get impacted by so much of information. And the idea is not about the information. The idea is that when we try to influence, when other media houses try to influence. So what are your views? What are your, how do you see it?
Oh, I have heard that all problem arise when men sit alone. I mean, man or woman sits alone at home. So, but then irony is that we are sitting at home and we are using digital platform to communicate, to interact with people. Not only the adult population, but also children because they are ongoing classes through this digital media. But I feel that though it's a very essential and important aspect of currently taking a leap in future, but at the same time I feel that there are few things which are creeping in terms of depression and alienating from the society because we don't interact in a group now because there's social distancing aspect we have to take care. So I
So
think we need to detox sometimes, and how to do it. Let me know your ideas about on this, how we can do that.
so Yeah, so Kanchan, first of all, it is important to understand why the word has been used, the social media detox. It is not a real life, first of all. And probably our youngsters, millennials, children need to understand it. We saw the both sides of the world, Kanchan. The one life which was before this and one that we are into this. So we can actually go back and forth, but for the children, but for the students, but for the youngsters, but for the millennials. They have opened their waking up lives with these uh, social media sites, devices, gadgets, always surrounded around Wi-Fi. And therefore, there is something that is missing is the focus. Missing is to talk to anyone and say that while I'm talking to you, can you look into my eyes while I talk to you? Or while you talk to me, am I listening to you intently? The word intently is something is completely missing. There was a Netflix original documentary, The Social Dilemma or Social Dilemma, and it explores the dangerous side of the social media. So this onslaught, as you said, we are all sitting at home. I would say when we were not sitting at home, while driving, we have seen so many people on the phones. On two-wheelers, inside the helmets of two-wheelers, we have seen people talking on the phones. There are now special helmets which are built with those earphones where the phone has a jack to fit in. So we have taken it ourselves to the different level altogether. So there are benefits, and there are hundreds of things about benefit of it. But the why we have spoken about this, why we want to talk about this is we want to make realize people about the facts. How many accidents happen while people travel and they do engaging on Facebook likes or Twitter or Instagram, sending SMS, receiving calls. And so important is to know the benefit, but also it is important to know the sliding part of it. And there are ways to do it. There are ways how to connect with the reality. Once we have to plan it out. It cannot be switched off today. We do go to our children and we see them and we suddenly go and change the Wi-Fi password. It is actually very harmful to their minds. I have heard millennials, I have heard in offices, you can't just do this without informing. You cannot change the Wi-Fi password. So there is something that we need to understand it as a malaise, as a lacuna, as a human fallibility, and bring the drug in a small and a slowly paced way and show the other side to the world, the real world, the real world. What do you say?
Yeah, you sounds like metrics actually, but then I feel so it's a starting point of digitization, and yes, we have to go a long way on this platform. But yes, there are side effects like a couple of times there's a misinformation. We have to believe in that because that's coming to social media. And then again, there are some sleeping disorders, which again we have to manage because we are part of this. And how to escape from this, I don't see any way out. I look forward for your suggestion. But what I feel is that if you want to really enjoy this digital platform, so you should deal or engage with this platform in a limited time, and rest of the time you should also get into some hobbies which you really wanted to do some time back when you were in school or colleges, but when you joined the job you were not getting time to do it. So now this is the time to really engage with these hobbies and be creative in doing things, interact with your children because you have time now to really, which you are spending at home. So we have more time to engage with the children, which always used to crave when you were going to office. So I think these are few aspects we should take care. What do you say about these?
So Kanchan, I read that make memories that you remember, not the ones that Facebook has to remind you of. And that is the crux of the matter. Today, we have we remember the birthdays, anniversaries of any, through our social media handles. And I would not just say it is only about Facebook, though Facebook has to take that in its stride because being the largest social media platform. So how do we plan it out? We have to plan it out by doing a detox. We have to deactivate the accounts slowly. We have to understand the difference between deactivate and delete. So Facebook provides a deactivate option. Then delete option is the next step. Twitter only allows for 30 days to restore a deactivated Twitter account, or it will get permanently deleted. Instagram only has temporarily disabled my account. They should have something like a delete account forever. LinkedIn, we have to be really careful here. I know of people who have passed away from this world and still their profiles exist on LinkedIn, on Facebook. How do you go and tell them to remove that? Why do we need to see those records? There is no need for it. But you see, there is an alter social media also has come up, and which is actually worrying, because we have not studied the after effects on our brain on that. In Facebook, we see everybody is in a happy mood. Everybody is posting, happy pictures. But there are people who are also putting up the sad pictures of their personal lives. Then some people are going through personal loss. Many friends in that list, 1,000 friend list, 1,200 friends list, they don't know what is the personal challenge of people. And then they post happy pictures. Then there is an expectation for a like. Then they nowadays people post it on Facebook and they come back on WhatsApp and say, hey, did you check my Facebook post? So we are being always attacked. I would use the word attack. It is not easy to go for a detox. And I think people are doing it. They should be treated as heroes who are able to do it. So delete your apps. Know the triggers. In fact, there is something called, after you do the social media detox for 7 days, take a turn to think about it. What did you gain? Are you feeling rejuvenated? Do you have creative and curious ideas? Do you have a better way to connect with your friends? Some people are doing it for 30 days. And some people just go big bang, 1 year detox, and it affects them badly because they now don't know what other people are posting about them. So, and each of these outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and for kids now, WeChat, Snapchat, and there are many others. Each of them have their character. Each of them have a culture. Each of them have their specific fan following. Like TikTok, we saw. And of course, all the technology companies will only talk about good things. But there needs to be a coordinated study about the effects of too much of all these in our daily life. And, detoxification has a benefit also. Reconnect with reality. Improved mood. We have more time for our friends, family, as well as our corporate colleagues. And lose our competitive streak. And suddenly we see regain a sense of privacy. In today's social media world, privacy has become like just a concept or a commodity. We think we are doing private conversations, and therefore we say something and nowadays I'm also seeing, while seeing a WhatsApp message, people are also able to make, it would have been said in a bad tone. I mean, how do you read a message and figure out the tone? Because the language has got mixed from English of United States, English of Britain, English of Indian subcontinent. We really cannot figure out what is the context, what is the tone, but we feel bad or good about it. So many misinformation, so many confusions are there despite being heavily connected. And with the kids and millennials, when I talk to them about this, they use a word called FOMO, fear of missing out. And don't touch my Instagram. You have zoned me. Zone, fear of missing out. This is something much more like somebody is sitting in my room, in my hand, invisible, and yet controlling my mind, my behavior, my gesture, my body language, and my mood.
Yeah, I feel that whatever you have stated just now, it's very true. But I also feel that this digital platform will be here for a long time, because due to this pandemic, we can't go out, offices are not opening, schools are not opening. But then, of course, there's a way to detox yourself through this thing. I think it's more important to listen to your own feeling and then take a break, because you have to decide how long you should be on social media, how long you will benefit you, how long is enough for you, so that don't miss out anything. So we have different platforms, and I think it's only all personal choice. But I will not include in this kind of detox in business or in education, because there we need a uh, regular broadcast of lectures, or regular talking or presentation. So I feel maybe we have to really adjust according to the terms. I think it all depends individually, how individual feel about it, and if it's really harming, then again you have to take a call on that, right?
Yeah, I think you are right. You're right. But again, when and I don't talk in terms of in this conversation. I'm not talking in terms of corporate life, because every company decides their own social media usage policy, and they are well to define what they want to their employees to do and what they don't. My conversation is more around our personal choices, where we really do not have boundaries within our homes, within our family members, for the people who live alone, far away from their families, or who are completely alone. So there cannot be a standard. I agree to it. But at the same time, the amount of fake messages, amount of deep fake messages, and how to tell the youngsters where to stop, when to think. Today, if I have to tell something, they will first of all go and check on Google. So the spoken word is losing its, charm. And therefore, when it when we come talk about community, and I think therefore there is a lot of challenges and legal aspirations around controlling it. If people would have been really generous and disciplined about these social networks, we probably would not have so much of legislation around controlling them. We are seeing what is happening with the elections being rigged or manipulated. So I think, especially for the youngster side, as I said, me and you have seen the both sides of the world, Kanchan, before the social media and after the social media. It is our responsibility more to introduce our youngsters, children, about the other side of the world, which is actually more real than social media. And therefore, it is my earnest wish to the listeners and to everyone in the teachers community, in the social world, about what we try to forward it without knowing the details, and we really don't know other person how he or she is going to react to it, because we assume, oh, I thought it is not sensitive, right?
Yeah, so I think the summary of today's discussion is that we should detox ourselves from a negative platform, and we should learn and we should guide our young people to come out from a negative media. So it was wonderful talking to you, Sitesh, today. We'll meet tomorrow again with the next interesting topic. Bye bye.
Thank you. Appreciate that we use this social media for something really, really interesting for our youngsters.
Bye, Sitesh. See you.
Bye.
Hello friends, I'm Kanchan from Akulmach Technologies and you are welcome to Talkgrass. Today we have a very special guest from Johannesburg, South Africa. He is an educator and he has taught many professionals in IT and marketing arena. A part of this, he also has deep interest in corporate coaching. And to tell you more about him, that he is also a great performer on stage, radio and television. And he has done a lot of interviews of international artists for different media. So without wasting any further minute, I would like to welcome Sitesh Srivastava from Johannesburg. Welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Kanchan, for this wonderful introduction. I'm doing very, very well in this super winter in the Southern Hemisphere. How is it with you?
Yeah, it is now June, July, so we are waiting for monsoons. Couple of showers is already there, but
I wish
pleasant
it is
weather here.
chilling here.
So, as we discussed that you are an educator, you have taught so many children in your career. Now, we see there's a pandemic and how people are reacting to this disease in South Africa, in your neighborhood, what they are precautions they are taking, and what they say about this pandemic.
So, when the beginning of the pandemic, when it was confirmed that this is going to be a pandemic the world has never seen, Africa, the whole Africa as a continent became very, very scared because, Africa as a continent comes in probably the last priority of all the other continents, North America and Asias and Europes of this world. And given the poor nations, given the poverty, but then something really strange, interesting happened in South Africa, that the government was very, very quick to enforce the lockdown, and it was a very hard lockdown that this country has not seen since its birth. And because of that, the early challenges and the people, if they would have given a relaxed lockdown, it would have been a challenge. But what I see is that it was a very, very hard lockdown, the first thing that the government did. Now, it is very tough to make the corporates and the business people and the local people understand that this kind of a lockdown and why. Because we live in a free environment and we think that we are birds. But that's not the case. And for the first 30 days of the lockdown, it was really tough. And people were just not knowing what to do because they have never been in last probably 20 years or 15 years, people have not stayed at home. And therefore, after the first 30 days, they started discovering that home is a wonderful place. We have probably not seen the different corners of our own home. And that's where people started trying to adapt to what can be done and productively with a fun, with enough entertainment. And we really don't need to go out of the house. And house is where the heart is the truly found thing and this pandemic. And that's what saved South Africa and other countries, though the cases are rising. But it is nowhere comparable to what America has seen or Germany or Italy has seen. Yes, poverty is there, testing kits are not available, but of course there are poor people all over the world, so the townships are really affected. And because of the job loss, a lot of crime is there in the market, everywhere, and we have to be really careful about that. There is a certain angle of crime always in Africa, but that is true everywhere, even in India as well.
Now, yes.
So people have started living in.
Okay. So now there's a major change in education sector also. I have come to, you must have witnessed that from physical education, all classes and education and learning is shifted to online classes. So what is your take on this change? Because earlier children used to go to school, they were interacting with the children, they have a huge playground to play. Now they are at home, stick to the computer screen and attending the classes. So what do you think is this change will benefit, and how you take this change?
See, yeah, my take is probably you will find little old school, but I feel that children are not supposed to be learning inside but outside the home, in the free environment where they can touch, see, smell, jump, climb, slide, all of these things. And that is the best education for a child who is trying to explore this surrounding through his senses. Now, but given this situation, right now we are in today, it has been really hard to contain children inside the home. See, adults have so many indulgences: phone, internet, television, talking to people. But children, they are still the raw people, raw energies, raw ideas. They want to go out and explore. Now, the whole problem with this new way of living is that the technology has to cope with it in a very unplanned way. No technology, these online technologies were always there for last at least 7 to 8 years, 10 years we have known. But probably the makers and the developers of those technologies never thought that they will have to rush things towards this pandemic and make it look something, nothing has changed. But yes, I think the online technologies are a good thing. I mean, all the digital transformation budgets that the CIOs of the companies were waiting to do it in 2 years, 3 years has been done in 90 days. And it has brought something that we have to live with this, and children also have to live with this. Students have to live with this. And in Africa, in South Africa, there is a great tradition of having an online education. In South Africa, there is a university in Johannesburg called University of South Africa, which is UNISA. Now, UNISA has got almost 400,000 students enrolled onto its online platform.
Okay.
They do it through online tablet, being a mobile, or going to some distant closest learning centers. So in Africa, traveling is expensive, and public transport is very, very less and not so feasible in terms of the life and lifestyle. So people have to drive cars. Now, if they don't have those driving a car and all those things, the best thing is to do an online study. But my feeling is always that online study gives a teacher closest to the student one-on-one. But then the classroom environment cannot be created or recreated. But it definitely opens up a new door on a laptop, on a mobile phone, on a tablet, on a television, whatnot. So I'm all for it.
Okay, so because now we don't have any other outlet also, because children cannot go to school at the moment due to this pandemic. So we have to stick to this online training. So we will be discussing further on this online platform and the offerings, educational new inquiries and new innovation which CEOs are doing in this sector. But then I also want to know about your opinion that how further this online training will develop the personality of child.
See, as I told you, I think it has to be a blended one. It cannot be completely online anywhere, whether it is distant education. It has to be a blended with a classroom approach. Yes, from 10 years back, online was something that people were not very keen into, because they were always thinking, no, classrooms are better. But now when the online is completely into our lives, we are thinking, and students are thinking, children are thinking, no, 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 no. The school life is better, the college life is better. The grass is always the greener on that side. What I think is that they need to coexist. The online and the physical world has to coexist. And how do we make this coexistence happen is something that I can give you with a small example. Let's say you are a tutor and you are teaching somebody online some subject. Now the person is at home, student is at home, you are at your home, and you are tutoring online. And in the given current situation, of course, there cannot be a classroom. But you can always say after 15 minutes or after 1 hour, you can always say, okay, can you now go to your outside of your home, or if you have a garden, go out there and do this activity and show it to me. And technology has made that possible. The person can put the camera at a right angle and he can show you that this is possible.
Yeah,
probably since he is doing some activity in the garden that is not so clear in terms of the video and the audio, but that we will ask for, almost like a semi-virtual mode. We need some kind of a better hardware and investments in online education as well.
So it was nice talking to you, Sitesh. We will extending this topic later next week and discuss more avenues in education. So till next time we meet, you take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All the best.
Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. About 10 days back, there was a news that in UP, which is one of the province in India, there is a discovery, or the scientists have found a huge stash of gold, or rather it's 3,000 to 6,000 metric ton of gold have been found deep inside the forest in our state called UP. Now this is going to change the dynamics, the global dynamics, and so far this much gold is available and it was sort of hidden out of plain sight for centuries. Nobody knew that such a big mountain of gold is there. That will change the dynamic, as I said, because this finding of the gold will bring India number 2 after United States in terms of the gold reserves. So why this is so important? Let me very high level, let me draw your attention to how economy works. So basically economy works based on average person sees these currency notes, and these are issued by the central bank of each country. Like you go to Kenya, there will be a central bank there. They are responsible for printing the notes. Likewise, we have in India, Reserve Bank of India, which is responsible for circulation and printing of the notes. It's not that anybody can print these currency notes. Now, how much currency to be printed, that is a question mark. That it is basically based on certain economic facts, and the starting point of this economy, which is like foreign exchange reserves, how much what is the size of my GDP, etc., and how much currency I have in circulation. All that really started maybe 1,000 years back, maybe 2,000 years back, but wherever it started with gold. And in ancient time, the India was known for the gold. Everybody had gold. In fact, today the Indians love their gold so much that it is part of, it's the ultimate investment. It's considered as an investment. It is also considered as ultimate inheritance. So while the Indian government does not have that kind of a gold in reserves, but the people, which is 1.3 billion people, with whichever religion they all love their gold, and all of these people have some gold or the other. So if you bring all of this into organized sector, we will be much ahead than the global any country, even United States. We will surpass them. But let's not talk about that part, because those that gold is privately held with individuals in the country. But this one, which has now been found out, is a mountain of gold, and the estimate value is 3,000 to 6,000 metric ton in state of Uttar Pradesh. If that is added to the Indian gold reserve, we will be number 2 after United States. You can straight away imagine, as a layman, I'm just not talking too complex things here. I'm not talking about inflation. I'm not talking use these, difficult terms. I'm just saying that if you have gold, you will have better economy. Your ability to invest increase, your ability to spend increase, there will be more currency in circulation, and blah blah, and so on and so forth. So this has a very very profound implications in years to come. Right now, the status of this gold is the UP government is going to do e-tendering, and by way of e-tendering, they will select the companies, whether government or private companies, who will basically excavate this gold and produce it. After that, what will happen? Whether Uttar Pradesh will have access to this gold, or whether they will have a joint ownership with central government and the Uttar Pradesh government. So will it belong to India as a whole, or will it belong to Uttar Pradesh? That is what something that needs to be seen and ascertained. But right now, the way it looks like, and in fact, because of the Shaheen Bagh protest, this particular news was totally buried by all channels. But this is going to come up in a big way. It is going to transform India in next 10 years. It will become, India will again live the past glory of being called the golden sparrow, Sone ki chidiya. So with this, I will end this video, but I will meet you tomorrow with some more interesting facts. Until then, bye-bye.
Hello friends, I am Kanchan from Akulmach Technologies and you are welcome to Top Brass. Today we have a very seasoned professional who has a deep interest in corporate training, and he had been teaching marketing professionals and IT professionals. He is joining me from Johannesburg, South Africa. So Sitesh, you are welcome to the show.
Jai Shri Ram, Kanchan, very good day.
Jai Shri Ram, it's quite a historical day today.
That's right, Kanchan.
How you feel about this?
Of the palpitation across the world amongst the Indian people it can be felt, can be seen, and the way people are connected to their television sets, to the internet, and to the whole spirit, for the whole essence that has happened or that is happening right now, probably in Ayodhya, is something which is unprecedented to see in this digital age, when we think that it is little disconnected. How is it there? How is it there in India?
Yeah, actually, people are really glued to the television screen, and it is dear to the heart of every Indian, because Ram is in the life and in the death also. You see, so Ram is very much kind of inside the hearts of Indian people who are living in India as well as who are outside of India. So, kind of giving us shape of this mandir. Mandir was always there, but then giving a historical prospect connecting to the modern India, that is really awesome.
That's right, Kanchan. It was more about the conscience of the Indian people and it was never about any kind of a political statement to be made. It was just trying to correct something that was an erratic thing that happened maybe a couple of years of back. So, and Lord Rama is basically the conscience keeper of the Indian peninsula, not just Hindus, I would say, but the Indian peninsula. And his story, his life, and his anecdotes are part of the whole Indian peninsula's culture, starting from India all the way it goes up to Indonesia, Thailand. And I know that in Thailand there's a city called Ayutthaya, which is a broken name for Ayodhya. So there are so many versions of it across the Asia Pacific region about the Ramayana, which is a story of Ram and Sita and the ideals that they lived for.
Yes, I think the one ideal which is very, very prevalent when we see the character of Ram is truth. He always stood for the truth, and that is for generation is being followed by all Indians who believe in Ram. Apart of this, I feel it is not a religious thing. I think it is more of related to emotions, related to how you really feel about this one person, Ram. Even Gandhi also started the movement, the freedom movement, by the name Hey Ram, and wanted, he had a dream of creating a Ram Raj.
Correct, Kanchan. So, in today's world, Kanchan, I feel more and more we should take the religious heroes who have traditionally remained in the religion books or the texts. We should take them out of the religious books and make them an ideal for the modern world. We should be able to decipher, analyze their lives, their stories, not just from one particular community or religion perspective, but from the overall humanity perspective. And if we look at Rama from the overall humanity perspective, it is a very, very idealistic story which has been there since thousands of years or ancient times, and they are yet relevant today, especially when we say Ram Rajya, or when we say Raj Dharma, or when we say where Ram was more and more interested about his welfare of the state. And he has always shown us by examples that the community life, the national life are bigger than the personal lives. And that is a very, very important message in today's life when we talk about the whole world as a global village, isn't it?
Yes, very much. And I feel that the significance of Ram is more today, because I strongly feel it's not a mythological character, it is a part of our culture, our history. And the significance is too much, and people should, the young generation should read about Ram, and they should try to understand for what values he stood years ago. The first time the temple which we are talking about now was built by King Vikramaditya. Then there was some happened, and there was some friction of ideas. But now today is a joyous day. What do you say?
It is indeed a joyous day, and I have been reading the news that this particular time and the day has come somewhere around after 492 years. And then it struck me that this has been in the conscious of our land and the people for 4 centuries, close to 5 centuries time. That means it is not just a piece of land, it is not just a piece of a place of worship, but it is the conscious collective superorganism that lives amongst all of us as Indians. And that is the key message that has gone out with today's activities and the puja that happened. And I believe that this should be seen more and more of a uniting message rather than a segregational message.
Very well said. It is a united message, because now things will accelerate in terms of creating cultural vibes in India and around Indians who are living around the world, and particularly to Indians who are living, because there was some gap. But now this incident has encouraged the faith and the cultural vibes which was already there, but somehow there was something missing, which is now will be getting accelerated. What do you think?
That's right, Kanchan. And the more and more we live in this pandemic world, in the COVID world, where the next time, the next moment, the decision can change, and we all live in a decision fatigue. We have to take decisions in minutes, in hours, and it changes just like a stock market. And more, I feel that we all are connected by the common thread, by what I call our collective superorganism, our collective will. And if that is true, Kanchan, it is beyond any one particular religion or one particular hero of any religion. And therefore, I said that all the heroes should be taken out of the context of their current religions and brought forward, and their best parts should be taken, and see how we blend and build and thread the whole global community together. And Ram is one of the best examples to do this.
Yes, Sitesh. So, as usual, it is a remarkable day today, and it is so nice to talk to you about Ram and sharing your ideas. One last message you would like to give to our viewers regarding this whole joyous movement.
Kanchan, I can tell my listeners and viewers of this that I'm sitting in South Africa, and I can see the enthusiasm amongst the South African Indians, the ethnic South Africans who came here somewhere around 160 years or around that time back. Some came as indentured Indian laborers, and some came as traders. And it is now third or fourth generation of those people. And Ram has remained in every home, in their conscious. The people I have met in Johannesburg, in Durban, in Cape Town, and they are so upbeat. They all can relate today. There are so many digital messages about the activities that have happened in India, and they are very elated. And this is the same thing that I am seeing from the rest of the world as well. And therefore, all I want to tell everyone is that let us pick up the character of Ram, we call him Lord Ram, and see how his life was important for the overall community and the nations that he ruled over, and how he captured the hearts of his people, and he always kept his personal life to the personal space and the collective life always for the overall good of his people. And that is what I would like to share this as a message. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Marada Pushottam, Jai Shri Ram. So till next time we meet, we'll discuss some other subject. Till then, bye-bye.
All the best.
Take care.
Bye, Kanchan.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And let me also welcome my colleague, my friend, Mr. Nagesh Sood, who's on our show. Nagesh, welcome to Top Brass.
Hi CK, thank you so very much. And I'm glad always to be with you and talk about various things happening around us. So thank you so very much.
So viewers, Nagesh is a very senior advocate practicing in Ahmedabad High Court, and he is also well-known pan-India human rights activist. So in this series of discussion, we are discussing about human rights. And before we start our discussion today, I would like to share that there has been an unprecedented decision taken by Indian government last evening, where they have banned 59 online applications. And some are large applications, some are small applications, but even a consumer like me had one of the application, I had to delete that application, for which I had paid the money. So today we will discuss about how banning of these applications affect the human rights. So Nagesh, we would like to know your opinion on this.
Well, Chandrakant, as we all know that last night at about 8 p.m., suddenly an order comes and there are about 15 applications which have been blocked by the central government while exercising their power under Section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000. Now, to tell you the brief history about this section was already challenged in a landmark case of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India way back in 2015. The Supreme Court struck down one of these sections of information technology, that is Section 66A, which prescribed penalties of the IT Act, saying that it had a chilling effect on the right to freedom of speech and expression over the internet. The person who had come before the Supreme Court had also challenged blocking power of the central government under Section 69A. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court said that Section 69A is legal and valid and did not touch upon that section, saying that that section has its own safeguard. It prescribes own safeguards that would protect the rights of the citizen. So when the government, central government, invokes Section 69A, there is a procedure, there are rules which are prescribed, which came into being in 2009 through a notification, which deals with a lot of rules like nodal agency. The complaint has to be made by a nodal agency of an institution. Secondly, there is a designated officer which has to be appointed under these rules. There is a committee which has to be appointed, which would look into those complaints and make recommendations. And only after that, the designated officer can block the sites. Now, the unprecedented move by the central government blocking en masse 59 applications is not prescribed under Section 69A. Section 69A only allows blocking of any particular site individually. But here what we see is there are 59 applications which have been blocked. So definitely it has affected the rights of the people, as we say, that we have to take out a lot of applications from our mobiles, such as Cam Scanner, which is being used every day by me for scanning the documents and scanning a lot of things for my office purpose, UC browser, and other applications wherein people are earning money as well. So it has affected their livelihood as well. So therefore, naturally, the rights of people have been affected by a blanket order which has been passed by the government yesterday.
So I think with regard to business, there has to be a business continuity plan. So all the businesses will migrate to different applications. So I don't think any businessman will have, some of them will be dependent on applications like Zoom, like we are doing today. But as a business, we are already thinking of not putting all the eggs in one basket. So like you mentioned, cam scanner, this is exactly what I had on my mobile, Nagesh. I had to delete it, and I'm feeling very sad because I had paid for that application. So, but I think it is part of the game. While this decision of government has sort of taken away a few rights, uh, but what about national security? Because China is a country which is an aggressor on us, and because of the conflict, there are some soldiers dying at the border. So, in such a situation, what is your opinion? How Indians should treat this order by the government?
Well, briefly, I will tell you what Section 69 of the IT Act says. It empowers central government to order that access to certain websites and computer resources be blocked in the interest of defense of the country, its sovereignty and integrity, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, or for preventing incitement to the commission of an offense. Now, the reasons which has come out purportedly uh, says that it is in the national security, public order, and in the wake of endangering the users of their privacy, such an order is passed because people who are using these applications are threatened with their through their apps, their privacy and data security. Now, as I said, of course, we are at heads with China these days, and there is a popular kind of movement which has come out that we should ban Chinese applications and Chinese goods, which is welcoming in a way, but the applications which are being used by people definitely uh, must have a reasoned order. Now, here there is a order which bans 59 applications. First of all, the order does not mention that these are Chinese applications. Number one. Number two, the government has to come out with some reasons as to what are the reasons of blocking these particular 59 sites. Now, how it is affected, whether there is a complaint, there has to be some logical reasoning which has to be brought before the public. And also, when such an order is passed, it is amenable to challenge before the court of law. Anybody who is affected, like, people are using TikTok. There are millionaire people are making videos. They are earning money also out of it. They are, being watched every day as a matter of entertainment, etc. Now, if that application is banned, definitely it has affected certain people. Like Camster, it's a paid app where people have invested, they have paid money for these applications, and once that application is taken off, everybody has a right to know as to why from me that application is taken. The reason has to be brought in. Of course, there are powers with the central government, but there has to be cogent reasons which the government has to come forward with.
So Nagesh, I as a layman feel there are two things. One is as a human being, as an Indian, I feel very strongly in favor of the government order. That is my personal thinking. And number two, as a businessman, I feel that when these applications are taken out from the market, it creates a sort of a vacuum for a few days. But that vacuum will also give opportunity for others to come in. So I think, as I was talking about business continuity plan, one is the issue of BCP, and other is the issue of our emotions. So I think with these two, what is your opinion? How people should take it? Like you said that from the legal standpoint, government has to come out with actual reasons so that they should effectively carry out these orders. Second thing is how people should, take this. Like you said, that TikTok, there could be livelihood loss for some of them. But I think there could be an opportunity for other guys, Indian players or even other countries to come and fill the gap.
Yes, definitely. You see, so far as sentiment as an Indian is concerned, definitely, whenever made in China or Chinese application is coming in front of you, you would definitely would not like to use the Chinese product or the applications which are Chinese. So, of course, when your sentiments towards your country are involved, you would want that it's a good decision. But if you look at from the perspective of somebody who has been greatly impacted in terms of livelihood, in terms of his daily functioning, or the level of with which he has been using the particular application, and the impact on his business or his personal life, then that is something very individual. That, you see, even if there is a popular kind of sentiment which is involved, but it has to be tested at the touchstone of legality and validity. Every law not necessarily is liked by people at large, but there is rule of law, there are procedures which are prescribed, there are rules one has to follow, and here the government has to follow certain rules. And if somebody's right is affected of freedom and of free speech and expression by blocking of these rights, definitely somebody can approach the court of law, and the court would test actually as to whether the order has been passed after following the due procedure which is prescribed by the government itself in 2009. So that is the distinction we have, that any order does not become valid just because it is very popular amongst people. That is my point of view.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nagesh, for bringing the clarity to me and to my viewers. Personally, I, being an emotional person, I feel very strongly for this order. But I think this whole decision is still unfolding. Government will have to show what are the reasons. I think we are a democratic country, and it is fair for people and citizens of India to demand this. So with this, I will like to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for your kind words and your wisdom, knowledge. We are on the journey of understanding human rights. So we will meet you again tomorrow on similar subjects again.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure being with you. Thanks again. You take care.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And I'm very honored and pleased to have our guest today, Mr. Nagesh Sood. Just to introduce briefly, Nagesh is a very senior advocate practicing in Ahmedabad High Court. and also a very well-known human rights activist known across India. So we are very honored to have Nagesh. Nagesh, welcome from Ahmedabad.
Hi, CK. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure being here and talk to you about today's subject. Today, I think we are going to do right to freedom of religion.
That is
and
right.
the human rights. Yes.
That is right. And since we are on the journey of discussing human rights, and this is one of the very important right given to Indians. So over to you, Nagesh.
Yes. To begin with, CK, I would like to point out that United Nations has recognized the importance of freedom of religion or belief in the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 18 of UDHR states that everyone shall have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right also includes freedom to have a religion or whatever belief any person wants to have from his or her choice. Similar provisions are found in Article 18 of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and also in 1981 Declaration on the Elimination of All Forms of Intolerance and of Discrimination based on religion or belief, then 1986 establishment of the Special Rapporteur to identify existing and emerging obstacles to the enjoyment of right to freedom of religion or belief, 1993 Human Rights Committee's Article 18 of Civil and Political Rights, which I've already mentioned. Now, Article 18 of Civil and Political Covenant is widely regarded as one of the most important articles on freedom of religion or belief. It says that everyone shall have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right shall include freedom to have or to adopt a religion or belief of his choice and freedom, either individually or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in worship, observance, practice, and teaching. Then it says that no one shall be subject to coercion, which would impair his freedom to have or to adopt a religion or belief of his choice. Further, freedom to manifest one's religion or belief may be subject only to such limitations as are prescribed by law and are necessary to protect 1. Public safety, next, public order, health, or morals, or the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. The state or the government, the states to the parties to this covenant undertake to have respect for the liberty of parents and, when applicable, legal guardians to ensure the religious and moral education of their children in conformity with their own convictions. Now, I would like to point out two quotes, one by George Bernard Shaw, which says that there is only one religion, though there are hundreds versions of it. And the other one is by the Rudolf Otto, which says that religion is that which grows out of and gives expression to experience of the holy in its various aspects. So we know that in human lives, religion plays a very vital role, and it is an integral part which influences the minds of people. Especially in the Indian society, the religion plays an indispensable role in governing the conduct and the behavior of the people. When it comes to religion, Indians are extremely possessive, and if anyone tries to hinder in that, they become alert or they become very active. It is pivotal to maintain some decorum while exercising this right in order to avoid any kind of future jeopardy, and therefore the state government or the central government can impose some restrictions. Now, the perception relating to religion varies from person to person. It is entirely a matter of choice and belief. The reason behind having strong faith may be that they perceive that religion adds meaning and reason to their lives. So people who are having strong faith leave no stone unturned in showing their fidelity towards their respective religion. Now, how this right is protected under the Constitution, we have four articles, Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution, wherein freedom of religion is provided. In India, being a secular nation, it gives every citizen right to follow the religion he believes in. A secular state is said to be the one where there is no official religion followed. So the government has to respect every religion that a person is following. Now, every person is also entitled with his right and liberty to preach, practice, and propagate the religion of his choice. An opportunity is also provided by this right to spread his or her religion among everyone without any fear of the government intervention. So, it is ensured by our Indian Constitution that no citizen is deprived of his right to practice and profess his or her religion. So this is what the basic freedoms we have internationally and nationally about right to freedom of religion.
Nagesh, let me share what I think about this. I feel as a professional, because I've been associated with the industry for over 27 years, I have worked in many organizations and I've also worked with a variety of people. I feel that we are truly very lucky. Our founding fathers gave our constitutions to us, because in a country like India, I think this is the only country where multiple religion, multiple types of people, multiple races coexist. So at the workplace, in a true sense, you don't look at other person's religion at all. And that is because of the foundation of our country. While sometimes we keep hearing these news, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, as a layman, I feel that every citizen has a right to practice their religion, but I don't think they have a right to impose their religion on anybody else. Is that right?
Absolutely. You see, when it comes to religious practices or a religion is concerned, there is no imposition. That is how we call it a freedom. The freedom means that nobody would try to impose his or her religion. But at the same time, there are conversions being taken place in our country and in world over, which also say that a person has a right to convert himself to any other religion. Maybe, after getting a perspective of that religion, the person has a right to convert to any other religion only if at all he is convinced that he would want to profess or practice any other religion which he is comfortable with. So there are a lot of debate which is going on. There are certain restrictions, certain laws which are imposed by certain states where right to conversion was a state law which was upheld by the Honorable Supreme Court of Madhya Pradesh and Orissa. But at the same time, I believe that the Constitution, when it says right to religion, freedom of right to religion means anybody can convert it to any other religion of his choice. So that is what the Indian Constitution provides for.
And certainly, I think we are very lucky to exist in a country like India, because there's so much harmony because of this particular provision given to citizens. Because at the workplace, we don't look at religion. Religion is something personal to us, and as you mentioned that citizens have right to practice any religion of their choice, but it remains a personal issue. It does not come and affect the work life, and I don't see there is any other country which is so liberal to its citizen about the religion, even though there are a lot of democracies around the world. And I have traveled a lot. I have lived in few countries, so I know for sure that this kind of freedom, what we get in India, is not available in any other country. So I think I feel very blessed and lucky to be part of this country.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. In fact, there are countries where there are no religious freedoms given to the citizens. Some countries are atheist, yet there is so much of impositions or control over this right of freedom in many countries. To name a few, we have restrictions in China, although it's an country, being the Communist Party ruling the country. Then there are countries like Pakistan, of course, then Sudan, Eritrea, and North Korea, Burma. These are the countries which are not giving this freedom, although internationally they are all the members and they have signed UDHR, and also they have been part of many treaties and conventions. So we see that in our country there is immense freedom of religion, for professing, for practicing, and celebrating. So this is very important, where the government does not, uh, kind of puts any restrictions, or rather facilitates every religion to celebrate their festivals, their religious ceremonies, etc., which also takes a lot of effort of the government, wherein the police force is provided, and a lot of measures are taken. So this is something great about India, that the government plays an active role in ensuring that people are able to practice their religion, and celebrate it. So that is the most wonderful part of this country.
Nagesh, thank you for your views. I also want to share with you that our viewers are liking our series about these legal aspects that you come on the show and talk about. There are some comments we have received also. I wanted to share with you today that people are very thankful that we have started this and they want to see more about this. And now I would like to address the viewers, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, do write to us and we will try our level best to answer this along with Mr. Nagesh Sood.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure, and I'm honored that people are liking it. And this is my kind of contribution. So it's always a pleasure being with you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Nagesh, and we will meet again tomorrow with some other human rights aspects.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass.
last week, a very remarkable, outstanding judgment given by Supreme Court of India, and they allowed women soldiers to hold a command. That means they have been legally now given right to become a commanding officer. So essentially, there are two things. One is command, and that command will lead to combat. So women soldiers have not been given combat right now. They have been given command. But after 70 years of independence, the women were inducted in army or defense forces, but they were not given command for whatever reasons. So I don't want to go back into the history of last 70 years. But prior to that, we had women soldiers. We had many examples. Even during British era, when during the independence struggle, there were a lot of women who were fighting as a soldiers. And and even in the mythology, if you go back into Indian history, there are examples of women in combat, not only in command. So right now, I think it's a step-by-step process. The command has been given to the women, and that has a far-reaching impact on the configuration of the army. So far, the women who goes and work for defense forces in India, they had a short service commission, which is valid for 7.5 years. After 7 years, there is no extension if you are a woman soldier. But now, with the command being given, that means they can work as long as they are male counterparts in the army, and they can hold a command. They can command a platoon, they can command a regiment, they can command a brigade. So the possibilities are endless. And so the short service commission for women will get nullified, and they will have a long-term career path in defense of the country, which is, I think it should have been done earlier. It should have been done when we got independence from British, but I think it is done now, and it has come from Supreme Court. I think I totally have faith in the women of my country. They can very well defend our country. They can contribute. They can plan things, and they can certainly command. So I welcome with this move from Supreme Court, and we are actually waiting to see some valor from the women forces, which is still awaited in the independent India. With this, I will see you tomorrow. Please do leave your comments, and I will reply as quickly as possible. As usual, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmach, and this is Spotlight. And today we are in company of a very distinguished personality joining us from UK, Mr. Mike Bradley. He is the Group Chief Strategy Officer of Scale Up Arena. It's a global network. And today we would like to discuss about the Brexit impact on the UK market, and how Scale Up Arena can help companies located in EU and in UK to scale up their business. So without further ado, let me invite Mr. Mike.
Hello, Chandra. Good to see you again.
It has been a pleasure, and I was thinking about you. There are so many different types of news which keeps coming up, and which are strengthening the business. For instance, today there is a new policy announcement by the Indian government on the use of social media and stuff like that. I think there are new laws which are now released in India, which will make it more open, yet it will also control the governance around the fake news arena. But over to you, Mike. Your country has just come out of Brexit. I don't know whether it is the right word to say, but I'm still saying it because I'm an Indian, and that's how I know it. What is the scene like?
I tell you what, that is so last decade, Chandra. What we're in now is the post-EU area, and we're still part of Europe. That's a nice thing, because we haven't geographically moved. So we're still definitely part of the European continent. Thankfully, the whole nightmare of Brexit is behind us. And the future is, in the words of the famous advert, the future is bright, but it's not orange. The future is trading globally, trading without borders, which is a very positive thing.
Absolutely. And I have been talking to you quite a few times in the past on various global issues. And your organization Scale Up Arena is helping a lot of startups and SMEs world over to network with each other, especially in the area of insurances, also in the tech area. So after post EU, let me correct myself, post EU, what kind of support Scale Up Arena can offer to the organizations based in UK and in the Europe to spread their wings into emerging countries like India? And
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think one of the major benefits we now have is we have the ability to trade globally, and without the red tape requirements that were required within the trading block, shall we say. So now we can trade with all of our friends around the world. There's something like, I believe, 2.2 billion people on the planet who speak English. So we've got quite a large market that we can address. And of course, we're very fortunate that so many people speak our language. I don't think it's down to us. I think it's more related to the fact that, Google and Facebook are American, and they don't speak many other languages. It's normally English, although badly spelt. But we're very grateful for them for that. So, the first benefits, of course, is Scale Up Arena is made up of a lot of English-speaking people. The other benefit, of course, we have out of the UK, and again, it's got nothing to do with me or us in our current generation, but we do actually seem to be in the center of the clock. So, we can trade east and west, and for us, it's always a reasonably polite time of day. Being in India, you will have no doubt at some point had to talk to some people on the west coast of America, and my sympathies are with you, because it's a horrendous time of day. So, we've got those benefits. So aren't specifically Scale Up Arena, but of course we can optimize those. So the ability to have our online digital meetings and webinars and briefings at a time that is quite friendly to most of the rest of the world is very helpful for the SMEs. And so whether you're an Indian SME reaching out to the UK, or a UK SME reaching out back to India or to some other part of the Middle East, etc., or the States, then it's, time is not an issue. And the benefit we have with that is that when we get together, we can have people on from all over the world. And you've joined some of our sessions. You know that we have people from China, from Australia, from the US, from South Africa, and so Scale Up Arena generally is not a UK centric, but it's a global economic ecosystem centric situation. And it's made up of lots of different communities. As you said, we've got Insure Scale Up that is now running and focused on just how to support the disruption that's going on in the insurance market. We've got other ecosystems in play. You'll be aware that there were people from Africa, so we're looking at the developing Africa area. Another one that we could and should talk about in the future is how we could work together with India, exploit the living bridge for the benefit of both, which would be great for both of our countries. So there's those virtual gatherings. We have the ability to provide access to markets. So one of the I suppose the benefits coming out of the pandemic is that people now trade online, probably more easily and definitely more easily than they do face to face. So all of a sudden, SMEs are able to reach global markets, and our sort of showcase, our online shop window, is a way that SMEs, no matter where they are in the world, can put their service on and then make that available for people to have a brief overview, contact, reach out, talk about, partnering, joint venturing, agency models into their geography, all with the potential to, one, expand their market, and two, provide a solution to the end users that can use it. So that's just one area. We've also got a partner now who, if you've got a SaaS product, an online application, cloud-based application, and you want to reach global markets, we also now can provide a platform which will enable you to take your product and sell it out to, at the moment, 22 countries, but not just the countries, via their channel relationships. So the existing IT distribution and reseller channels via this platform, which manages your entire vendor relationship. So, again, something quite unique that we make available out into the SME space, because as we both know, 99% of the world's businesses are SMEs, and the if you like, the future of most global economies lies not with the multinationals, but with the SMEs growing and optimizing their potential. And post-pandemic, post-EU, there's so much potential for us to optimize that.
I think it's very interesting to learn, these things which you bring for us, for the SMEs. From the India perspective, there are 3 to 4 major critical items which require immediate address. One is in the area of EdTech, because a lot of students are sitting at home and doing the online classes using the free open source software from Google, but that is not helping in a big way, because you can have a free class and the teacher comes using a camera, but it does not replicate the real environment of a school. Now, the similar situation is happening in the offices, with Google announcing that their employees will not be required to come to office for next 3 years. They will have to work from home. So I think there are opportunities for entrepreneurs, if they have the right technology, right solution offering, to look at India market, because it's a huge market. I mean, if you look at the Indian student base, is roughly about 300 million students which are sitting at home right now and doing online classes. So if there is a software available which can kickstart the online schooling, because right now we don't have anything. We have online coaching, but there is nothing for online schooling. Even though the government has announced that the course curriculum is standardized across India from standard 1 to standard 12. It's all standard and it is freely available on the government portal. You can download the books. But the schools are finding it tough to catch up because there is no technology which is available right now. So I think since I'm talking to you, I'm trying to send this message that there is a huge opportunity, roughly about 300 million subscriber base waiting to be tapped. If you have an AI-based e-learning system, which will replicate a school environment.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges, well, there's several challenges about education around online. One is access to devices. The way to deliver education to the vast majority is via mobile. So educational tools, online tools, have to be made available on mobiles, so that it bridges the divide. I think there's opportunity, and I know in India you have a very innovative CSR program, which I think the rest of the world we can learn from. but there is the ability, I think, to divert some of that resource into providing facilities, online facilities for students who don't have access to computing, or an area where they could go share that. I think that's potentially a great way to use CSR. There are definitely online platforms out there that can make training available. On Scale Up Arena itself, we have a tutoring and training area that we use for a commercial purpose. But part of that is not just to say, how do you learn how to sell, or how do you learn how to manage people, but it can be also an educating the market about a new solution. So if there's an innovative education program, education app, for example, that could be used not just maybe in India, but in any English-speaking world, then it could be put onto the shop window. But also you could do a training session, be it a webinar, be it a briefing online that would educate people as to why they need your product. Because it's very easy for people that have come up with an idea to think, oh, everybody's going to get this. I've seen the reason, everybody else will want it. But actually, it's not always the case. There's an education process around new innovation. I know that for many years, believe it or not, and this sort of gives my age away, Chandra, but for many years, I was selling the concept of email. Can you believe that you had to tell people why they needed email? Well, you did. And so with any new innovation, and there's a lot of great innovations coming out of India, coming out of the UK, coming out of even Germany, even Europe comes up with some of these. But coming out of tech hubs around the world, there's some great innovations. But sometimes the market doesn't have a recognized need. It doesn't know that it needs that product. So there's an education process, which is what we provide through Scale Up Arena, the opportunity for a ecosystem member to create webinars, briefings, training sessions to support their go-to-market. And of course, educational establishments across India, the boards can actually access the services and tools. We have a couple of products on Scale Up Arena for the education space. One is a digital portfolio called Bulb. So you could go onto there and search for Bulb. And that is a great facility for people to be able to share, create content, have that an ongoing way to develop their learning and showcase their learning. And there's another product called the Open Badge Factory, which is another way for people to create achievement badges. So you could have a particular skill. Maybe it's, I don't know, online geography, and you could have a badge for online geography, and you've reached this standard of achievement. Because I think young people are ready for digital. It tends to be the established traditional routes to market which slow up the adoption of technology. So it's very much, email is a classic example going back to that. It wasn't until people had email in their homes and young people were saying, I've got email at home, why don't I have it in the office? And all of a sudden, everybody had to have it in the office. The same is true with video. At one stage, everyone said, well, not sure. And now, of course, if you don't do video, do you even exist as a company if you're afraid to put a video up? So you'll be well aware of the potential of video casting and video streaming. So there's a time delay between the adoption of this new technology and the optimization of it. And I think education is one sector, but insurance is another, retail is another. The world is changing at a rapid pace, and the pandemic has accelerated that pace. And now, services and ecosystems like Scale Up Arena will enable people to more easily promote and share and integrate their services and solutions for the future. And traditional organizations, be they schools, be they multinationals, be they medium-sized organizations, can find solutions for example, on Scale Up Arena on the homepage, we have an area where a multinational can request a solution because they know they've got a challenge, but they don't always have the ability to focus resource on finding an innovative approach. And there's probably already one out there. There'll be somebody in Mysore or in Bangalore or in London or in Berlin who's already created the solution, but the multinational is not aware of it. So using our area, the free of charge way to find a solution, we can then matchmake that with the innovators we know and the contacts we have in across the globe. So, it's another way that we can help drive that change and help the adoption in traditional organizations of all the new exciting technologies.
In fact, as we speak, there are mega mergers going on in the area of education within India. The largest one that I've heard of is $1 billion acquisition. And the BlackRock fund is very active in this area. So I think it's a great opportunity for innovation-based tech companies, ed tech companies to enter the market through Scale Up Arena. And there are a lot of opportunities waiting to happen.
100%.
The entity that I'm talking about has 71 million students registered on their website. These are all Indian students. And these are in the area of coaching, but not in the area of learning. So I think that what we need is an actual replication of school arena into the digital platform, so that there 100%. Are breakout sessions.
Yeah, and in fact, we've got an area of the shop window, the showcase, that is an EdTech area. We don't have that many applications in there. So if you've got an application for the EdTech market, we can make it available there, and then it becomes globally available. You've got the ability to have a crowd draws a crowd, rather than being the needle in the haystack. We can enable you to have more profile and presence because it's easy to find. You can search easily, but also, as you know, we have these sessions where we have people able to present what their solution is, where the service is, they get connected into the right people and take it from there. So there's great opportunity for EdTech companies or in fact, any tech companies. We're doing a lot of tech stuff, but it's not all tech. As you know, it's green tech, there's environmental solutions. It's just a case of an online department store for innovation and particularly for the emerge ups and the scale ups. Everybody knows the multinationals, but it's the emerge ups and the scale ups that can actually and are providing this disruptive dynamic change that is actually a force for good on a global scale.
Absolutely, Mike. And I know for sure that there are a lot of innovators in UK and also in Germany who are doing a lot of innovation around the battery technology, electric vehicle arena. And India is a market which has opened up. The Indian government has said that by 2025, they want to not have internal combustion engine vehicles running on the streets. So 2025, just 4 and 5 years away. So
sure.
And I know for sure there are about 300 to 400 electric vehicle manufacturing companies in India. So I think Scale Up Arena can play a major role where the high-tech innovation can come into India and then revolutionize this market, because there's a big market.
100%. Yeah, very much so. And of course, I think one of the other areas that we're supporting is the provision of energy. We have several solutions on Scale Up Arena already that will enable the efficient production and the environmentally friendly production of energy, electricity, because all of these new vehicles are going to need power. And so we've got to produce that in an efficient green way as well. And that's why some of the solutions we've got are helping to drive that change. Also talking about, vehicles, there's of course automated vehicles coming down the line as well. We have solutions on Scale Up Arena for securing those, for securing the Internet of Things. So yeah, these areas are all key to the future. But you can't. I don't think you can take one thing in isolation. You have to take a look at the big picture, because it would be pointless us all having electric vehicles and no electricity to power them. So we have to have a cohesive plan to deliver that. And of course, services that we have and are becoming available through our ecosystem, through the shop window, we can both match that up with the requirements, but also companies that are seeking to get their product and service out to market and scale on a global basis can also use it as an online department store for their services.
Absolutely, it's quite exciting because I know for sure there are a lot of companies, Indian companies, spending their money in building the charge points for the electric vehicle. So a lot of preparation is going on. There are a set of companies who are making electric vehicles. There are a set of companies who are actually preparing the infrastructure, and then there are a third set of companies who are also building the software, payment systems, and those kind of things. So I think lots is happening in these areas.
Correct.
There are at least 4 to 5 smart cities coming up in India, where there'll be everything running through smart meters, water, electricity, and so on, your vehicles. Pretty much similar to what we have seen as an experiment in Dubai. They have a smart city which was inaugurated, I think, 18 months back by the king there. So similar things are happening here. So I think Scale Up Arena is, it's a very important platform for people in the UK and people in India to partner, to join with, and look at the solution which you can roll out in the market.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Very kind of you to say so. And I can only agree with what you've just said.
Absolutely, Mike. So it was pleasure talking to you. I think now that it's post EU, I think everyone has to look for the new markets and new partners. And I think it makes more sense to join Scale Up Arena because the partnerships and the markets are readily available there.
100%, and it's globally available. There's less red tape. Rather than having to negotiate a deal with 27 other countries, it's one-to-one, and so things can move a lot quicker. I know we're aligning with other trading blocks. I think there's another trading block in Asia Pacific we're a member of now. So yeah, the shackles are off. The opportunity is to join forces and work together with independent countries around the world.
Absolutely, Mike. So it was lovely talking to you today. We will catch up again next Thursday with something even more interesting.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Chandra. Always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmach Technologies, and as you all know that we have a platform which is helping a lot of companies worldwide for their lead generation and branding activities. The platform is called TopBrass, and in order to enhance the offering on this platform, we have started a new video initiative called Likeable Leaders. Under this initiative, we interview the popular CEOs or the budding CEOs who have been successful in their own way, and they've got a lot of experience, who would like to create an inspirational story around themselves and inspire their own team as well as their industry colleagues. So the Likeable Leaders of TopBrass gives an opportunity. In this section, we will ask certain questions which will help you establish yourself. You can share your stories of success, of failure, how you basically overcome any bad feelings if you have, how do you discipline your life, how do you bring focus to your own activities, um, what sort of books you read, how do you motivate your team, and there could be any other thing that you would like to share about yourself. um, and this is something which is very good for all the CEOs to start with, to start sharing their ideas and reaching out to their team as well as their peers in the industry. So I personally like to talk to you and look forward to this opportunity. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello, friends. I'm Kanchan from Akulmach Technologies, and you are welcome to our show Nations. Today, we have Sitesh Srivastava, who has a deep interest in corporate training, is closely associated with radio, and he loves talking and meeting people. So, how are you, Sitesh, today?
I'm well, Kanchan. It's been long that we have spoken, and I look forward for talking to you. How has life been with you?
Yeah, fine, great. We are also meeting new people, doing our daily routine shows, and eating a lot.
Great,
That is the
great.
best part of staying at home because there's no time. We are our own boss.
Yes, 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 yes.
So,
Well, what are we discussing today?
yes, we just celebrated 150th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and he was a great leader. His contribution is not less than Mahatma Gandhi. But everybody knows about Jallianwala Bagh, how General Dyer massacred the innocent Indian. But you would not know about a bigger massacre in India than Jallianwala Bagh. On 25th September 1945, uh, 76 years ago, there was a Neelganj massacre where 2,300 soldiers of Azad Hind Fauj were gunned down by British soldiers. So I thought today on this Subhash Chandra, it was on 23rd of January, but we are still celebrating 25th birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose. So I think it is a great topic to let our viewers know that there's a greater massacre than Jallianwala Bagh, which is hidden, which is not being talked about. So do you know about this massacre?
Kanchan, this is interesting and strange. In post-independent India, the one of the sad part is that our history was moderated to so much uh, into easy way of writing without any nationalistic connotations, without any facts giving there. It was something which was just a piece that needed to be written. It was written, and many of the facts were hidden. And this is what we have been taught, and even today it is being taught in the schools. And Neelganj massacre was also an eye-opener for me, which I also got to know only recently in 2021 when we were celebrating Netaji's birth. And it filled me with lot of anger or towards why have we not written, or why have we not told this is information, this piece of history, which is much more gruesome as it appears than Jallianwala Bagh, which happened in 1919. The greater irritation is that this happened in 1945, as you just said, with less than 2 years of our independence. And that is something which which has given me a kind of a lot of goosebumps, that 2 years before independence, when it was at the height of Second World War, in 1945, this kind of massacre happens in India, on Indian soil, the British Indian soil. And there were no reports about it. It was not just, even in those days, the reports are not seen in the national newspapers, or it was not talked about by the leaders. Forget, paying any kind of remorse. And that is something which suddenly makes me think that whatever I have learned as a history, the Indian history, the modern Indian history, do I need to relearn it? Do I need to relearn it from various authors and really question what was taught in NCERT and CBSC and ICSC? And why is it so? And therefore, Neelganj massacre, 22,300 people and no news. This is a pity on the modern Indian politics, which Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has been meted out with in independent India. And despite his fan following, despite the unquestionable integrity that he carried with him, despite the rare personality that he was, in those days when there was no information flowing like today, and he could travel from his house arrest in Kolkata to Germany, and from Germany to Japan, and then from Japan to Singapore, and then finally coming up to Nagaland border, Kohima. And this is an incredible journey that needs to be told. The fact needs to be pulled out from fiction. All the declassified files in whichever country they are around Netaji's life should be declassified. If not now, then when? What do you feel?
Yes, I think there's no account of Indian, no account is given of INA contribution in the Indian independence movement. It totally, political leaders totally ignored this NIA movement, which is very, very crucial. But Sitesh, there are many things which has to be declassified, like first election of independent India. Like I was just reading yesterday in one of the test book, the war between Rana Pratap and Akbar. Actually, it is said when you go to Rajasthan that Rana Pratap never defeated by Akbar. And in fact, I heard, I'm not sure, but somebody told me that Akbar tried to give whole of Sultanate in exchange of Chittor. But Rana said no. And yesterday I was reading that Rana was defeated by Akbar. But that last war, according to the history and some of the historian, was a draw between Rana Pratap and Akbar. But in textbook, it is written that in last war, Akbar defeated Rana Pratap. So I think few aspect of history has to be changed, is to be told as they are. And the history and the contribution of INA is one of them. And when I'm talking about Neelganj massacre, it is really sad that this kind of incident being covered up or maybe hidden by Indians, and doesn't have any mention in the textbook. And I think that time has come that all which is hidden should come out, as you said, should be declassified. We have all right to know each and everything about our own country, about our own people. We have right. And I think time has come that people should think about it, and they should work towards it to really give information to Indians about Indians. You know that when this INA was emerging, it is more crucial to India, though the impact, the shadow of INA was there when we talk about Japan and when we go to Singapore, and he even met Hitler also. So you can really visualize the height of this leader, the impression of this leader, and no a small leader can do or act like this. He was one of the bravest freedom fighter we ever had. I'm talking about Subhash Chandra Bose.
Yeah, Kanchan. So probably I think that he was way ahead of his times. He was able to see the future. If you listen to what he said while he was Congress president, where he had apparent conflict with Mr. Gandhi, and then when he moved out and then he formed his forward bloc, his speeches, he was a person who was actually in a world of history. All that I can say that he was caught on the wrong side of the history, because he went and he had the that conviction about himself and his thought that he met Hitler, and from there he was directed to go and the Japanese political setup, and he ended up meeting the Japanese emperor, where he asked for the help. And therefore after the Second World War became decisive, after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and Japan pulled out. And that's where Netaji, he actually found the biggest setback of his life. He was so close to victory, he was so close to success, he was so close to becoming our de facto leader, but a fate, chain of events, and then the stories that were created around that mishap, the Saigon, the accident. And I have also keenly followed about the wealth that INA had, Indian National Army, as well as the provincial government of India, which was created in Singapore. The wealth of the Asia Pacific Indians, diaspora people, that wealth which was for the Indian government that was created in exile. I have seen some documentaries, Kanchan. That value of that money in today's term could be somewhere around 6 billion US dollars, and no one knows where all that wealth has gone. So it is high time that the declassification should happen from India, from Russia, from Germany, and all the places that Netaji visited, and all the people with whom he was in touch. His daughter, Anita, I think I'm saying correct name, she is in Germany. She has access to some of the documentation available with the German government. And all of that, it is important, it's high time. It's 75 years. And while I was in Japan, I must tell you, in Tokyo, there is a Renkoji temple which claims to have ashes of Subhash Chandra Bose, which was found from the wreckage of the plane on that fateful day. And that ashes are kept in a Renkoji temple, and the Renkoji temple is open throughout the year. But on 18th of August, when this incident happened, on that day, a diary or a visitor book is kept at the table, where outside of this temple, where people can go and write their comments about Netaji Bose. And I'm told that there are comments from Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and multiple of other leaders from India who believe that they are Netaji's ashes. But the secrecy which is surrounded around Netaji's disappearance, therefore, and many of the, especially our Bengali brothers and sisters, they still don't believe that Netaji passed away in that crash. So it's high time that we need to come out from the government perspective, so that once for all, this story around Netaji can be settled. And I think all other rumors about Gumnami Baba and other people who were kind of, they were supposed to be Netaji living in exile in India post independence, those all can be put to rest. And I have been to Renkoji temple in Tokyo, where they believe that one day Indian community, Bengali community, would take the ashes from them, and then the circle of life for Netaji would be complete. So I think whether Netaji passed on that day or he passed out later from a Russian prison, and whatever happened, and then the Nilganj massacre that we are talking about, this all needs to be brought out, debate needs to be done, and it has to have a national presence of discussions, and a closure should be given. And I think I heard that government is also planning for a statue of Netaji somewhere in Kolkata or near Kolkata, which would be as comparable to Sardar's statue in Gujarat.
Yes, and there's no doubt that INA and Netaji Subhash Chandra holds the status of patriot and revolutionaries. So, and it is really sad that INA, they have suffered a lot in the process of Indian independence movement. And when we are talking about Nilganj massacre, it has to be put forward for other children and Indian at large to know that there was a massacre which was being covered up or maybe not told by historians and somebody who has written Indian modern history. They somehow missed it. So now it's time to really claim and tell our new generations that freedom is not free. It costs soldiers. It costs people who have sacrificed their life for independence. And we have to care for this freedom which we are enjoying. And it's very, very essential to really come together and work for the progressive India.
Well, that's absolutely right. You could not have been more apt, Kanchan. And I wish that we should take up this to tell our youngsters and about Netaji's legacy. As much as we talk about other legacies, it is more and more important to talk about the legacy of our patriots, and Netaji stands right at the top.
So it was good to talk to you, Siddesh. We'll discuss some other interesting topic, informative topic in our next episode. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, Kanchan. Have a great day ahead.
Bye.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies and welcome to today's Monday morning edition of Top Brass. And before we start our discussion today, let me invite my friend from London, Mr. Neville Gunn.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. You're partway through Monday and we're just starting, but it's still Monday. So what we need to be doing is doing things slightly differently this week than perhaps we've done before, because then we'll get maybe a better result.
Absolutely. In fact, as we had predicted way back in March and April during our discussions many months back, that the whole business scenario will change, and it has now changed. So when we say that business scenario has changed, is moving away from face-to-face meeting to digital meetings, and that has become a reality now. So the same applies for job seekers. So if somebody is looking for a job, the most important thing that they can do today is basically make a video about their expertise, about their USPs, and you know uh, expose themselves in the digital world. What do you want to say about this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, CK. And in fact, for many years now, even when video first came on the scene, remember those dizzy days where we heard of something called YouTube? And we thought, well, what's YouTube? Sounds interesting. Let's have a look at that. We're still talking this century, by the way, folks, if you're listening. This wasn't created last century, it was created this century. YouTube is only about 15 or 16 years old, if truth be known. And I can remember at the time there was a group in the UK which was government funded. It was called Business Link. And the purpose of Business Link was to help businesses get more business. Simple as that. So once you start a business, you can actually perpetuate that business and you get the ball rolling. Even today, I find lots and lots of businesses, and I'm not just talking about the UK now, I'm talking about globally. There's lots of businesses that still don't have their promotion on a video. The chief exec or the COO or the CFO shies away from social media. And yet that actually, for a small business, is one of the growth arenas, because people buy from people, as we've said before, and therefore people need to know who you are, know what you're doing, know what you're selling. And now in this very difficult arena for people looking for jobs, many that have had jobs prior to COVID, but were, put on long leave and now perhaps have found themselves redundant. There are jobs available out there, but lots of employers are now looking at different ways of recruiting people. I'm a bit surprised that the recruiters actually haven't gone down this route. And my guess is they're probably not thinking in the right way. So any recruiter listening out there, perk your ears back, because businesses, employers like me, like you, CK, have got options available for people. But what we'd like to do is we'd like to see what type of attitude these people have got. Not just send a CV and sit back and wait for a response. Now, many employers are putting CVs on job sites, and thousands of people are applying for maybe one or two jobs that are available. But what I do know is that when people make a little video of themselves and introduce themselves to corporates, employers, wherever they are in the world, then they get to the top of the pile because they've done something a little different. So come on, come and do a little video. We will share it for you. We'll put it out there. We've got lots of contacts in the business world that look at our regular videos that we put out there on a daily basis, because they're looking for advice, they're looking for support, they're looking for ideas. So why not put you out in the arena? We're not going to charge you for it, frankly. Just do a little video, introduce yourself, and let's see if we can help you. Because that's the bottom line, really. This is about sharing the best practice to people out there so they can go and do their own thing. You can even go and create your own YouTube channel if you like. But if you're not that experienced, just do a little video and come online. Let's help promote you. That's just our little tip for the week, I suppose, CK. Those people that
Yeah, I would like to add to what you're saying. I think it's a question of imagination. And,
Yeah.
past few days, I have been seeing this HR. I think you mentioned the HR guys. So the CHRO type people are spearheading the advertisement for their corporates. And they are saying that, hey, I'm going to hire 8,000 Java guys next month. So their imagination is still in 2019. I mean, they have not realized the reality, even though they are so senior and their designations are CHRO. So once in a while, almost like every week, I'm seeing these advertisements from the large corporation. Hey, I'm going to buy 8,000 guys next month. So they are just keeping their branding alive, which is not valid anymore. And I think going back to the point that you're making, I think people have to take charge of their own destiny. And making a video is not a one-day job. You have to really learn the tricks. You have to learn the communication. You have to learn how to address the people, how to handle the questions. So it is not for everyone. So I think in addition to putting your video, we can also give you training. We can also improve your communication skills, and we can also help you handle the objections happening through digital media. So I think this is something that I would like to add.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, CK. And as you said, many organizations are living in the last year, despite the fact that people at a very senior level have had to deal with Zoom. Never before have they worked like we're working here. You're several thousand miles away from me. It's a slightly different time of day, but we're still talking with each other, not just over the phone, but we're having a conversation over video. The likes of Zoom, Skype, it's just as big elsewhere. WebEx, I mean, these things have been around for many, many years, certainly since I left corporate life, they've been around. And what we're finding is that although we're using these mediums ourselves on a regular basis, we're not actually investigating and using our creative imagination to use it for the benefit of something else we might be doing. So someone says, come on a Zoom call. Frankly, now I say, does it have to be Zoom? I'm sort of zoomed out, frankly. Is there another medium that perhaps we could utilize that? But people want to see your face now. They want to be able to talk to you just like they did before when you had a physical meeting. I mean, you and I have never physically met, but it's almost like we know each other intimately because we have conversations around the programs that we're running together. So just think slightly differently. You large organizations out there, come and have a chat with us. We've built platforms where we can actually get to a large population. We can identify that population for you rather than just a scattergun. The digital arena, you can focus where you channel all of your efforts. You might know it as pay-per-click. Well, it's pay per area. You actually really do focus down, and you can then actually get a whole stream of people that are more qualified, certainly digitally qualified, because they wouldn't see it otherwise. The days of putting an ad in a newspaper are probably dying away. They're still there, and they'll probably be there forever, just like newspapers are still there, despite the fact we've got a digital world. They'll be there for some people, but the majority of people today are doing what we're doing here. Spreading our word, being in the digital arena, and actually this is like an interview. You would have a physical interview with somebody. So this 90-second, say, little introduction of yourself on a video will tell you what to say. You have a practice yourself. We'll tell you what to say about yourself, and we'll tell you how to say it. But the thing is, you've got to do it. Demonstrate your can-do attitude in coming over in a very, not hugely professional video. You don't need it, frankly. People just need to see who you are, why you are, what turns you on, why you're going to be a good asset to this organization. And frankly, you can say that in 15 seconds. Warren Banish, who I only met once. Warren Buffett, beg your pardon, who I only met once. He was asked a question, how do you know the person is going to be right for your organization? And he said, I look into their eyes. That doesn't mean you're looking at a CV. The CV's got you to the conversation. I look into their eyes. What do you see? Do you see light bulbs there? Do you see someone's vacant? They're live, but they're not live. They're not really there thinking. Then you can have a good conversation. And that's where the video arena takes off immensely, because within 15 seconds, you can look into someone's eyes. Do they really mean what they're saying? And we see it all the time in physical presence. When you and I have been in big networking sessions, you can actually see who the people are that you want to be working with. And you see through their eyes, through their mannerisms, what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're saying it. You can't get that from a piece of paper that's a PDF copy that lands in your in tray. But you can get it from a video. So come on, everybody. Come online. Give us a little insight into who you are, and we'll help you get better. Simple as that. Not bad for a Monday morning.
In fact, Neville, this is a very good message. We are asking the job seekers to come and take our help in order to make their video, to learn the tricks of communication. How do you communicate your message about yourself to the companies who are looking for people like you? And then we will also publicize your videos to the people who are looking for resources like yourself. So I think these are the three key points that you have said today. I've taken liberty to summarize them. So thank you very much, Neville. You have a nice Monday, and we will catch up again tomorrow.
Thanks very much, CK. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Absolutely, Neville. Enjoy yourself, and bye-bye. Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And we know that today the market crashed, and it has crashed very badly. People are calling it different terms. Some are calling it mayhem, some are calling it bloodbath, blah, blah, blah. But I think the fact of the matter is that it has not happened today. It has been happening for almost like 10 days. There was initial crash about 10 days back, then intermediary, there was a stop. And then after that, it again started. And today morning, it just went down by 3,000 points. But I think coronavirus is one which is giving a wrong sentiment to the market. But I think we have also overlooked some of the news which happened, which came out last week related to the financial world. One of the major news items which we have missed is the Supreme Court of India, has allowed cryptocurrency in India, because the RBI, which is the central bank, has always maintained that the cryptocurrency is not good for the country. And they have also used their ultimate power to not allow cryptocurrency in India. But now the case has gone to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has struck the RBI regulation down, and they said that it is allowed. Now what will happen if the cryptocurrency comes in a big way? The cryptocurrency, there is no regulator
as we know, there is an online regulator, but there is no country-specific regulator. For example, in India today, we have RBI, which is controlling as a regulator lot many things. It is controlling the lending rate, it is controlling the deposit rate, it is controlling what bank will do. It has absolute control on the banking industry. Without the RBI regulation, people cannot do anything in terms of whether it is financial banking, or it has impact on the stock market as well. So with cryptocurrency coming in India, where the regulation part of how the currency will be maintained will be taken out from the RBI realm, that will have a very profound impact on the Indian economy. Because so far the banking industry has been managed in such a way that it is highly regulated, it is highly conservative. The people who are managing MDs of different large banks and the RBI, they are controlling the whole economy, and they basically represent the country economy as well to some extent. With crypto coming in India, we need to see how it will impact, because with cryptocurrency, you don't have to keep your money in the bank. You can keep them in the cryptic currency, which is not under the regulation by RBI, and it can be freely sold and purchased, and it does not have any border limitations. So we will have to see now, since the Supreme Court has struck down the RBI regulation, and hence the cryptocurrency will be allowed in India. We will have to see, wait and watch what RBI will do now. Will they form a new regulation around crypto, or will they allow cryptocurrency to come as it is? So I think the market crash is related to many things. It's not related to just coronavirus, which is affecting the country today. There was a Yes Bank moratorium last week. Before that, there was cryptocurrency. Before that, there was something else, and so on. So the market sentiment has been sliding down, and it is just going down. So with this, my analysis is that cryptocurrency coming into India in a big way will make a lot of changes in the economic structure, how we do business, how we can we correct money for our services in cryptocurrency, or we need to have the payments made in Indian rupees or US dollars. So that has to be seen. So wait and watch about this change, which is going to happen in 2020. I'm sure a lot of Indians have already invested in cryptocurrency during demonetization. So let's see, wait and watch what new regulations comes around the whole thing. I think this market crash is really moving towards some sort of adjustment. Since the new products are going to be coming into the market, the new way of doing business in next few months. So let's wait and watch and see how this whole economic structure pans out in India. I will meet you tomorrow again with more analytics. Until then, I welcome your comments, and I like to know what you feel of what I'm talking about. Until then, bye-bye.